The Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hands of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land.
All right, well, my name's Michael, and of course I am an addict. I was born and raised in West Virginia to my real parents, and needless to say, I was born a heroin baby. Any drug known to a man in the early 70s, I came out addicted to it.
I lived in a very violent world. I sold drugs at a very high level, and making money, pimping, men pimping and stuff like that, around prostitutes, around other pimps and hustlers, drug dealers.
When I started taking the wrong road of life, probably 17 years ago. I was married, no excuses, believe me, no excuses. I was married, I lost my husband, he was killed on a motorcycle, and I started a journey of no return.
Was in and out of the mental institutions. I ended up overdosing on 4,000 milligrams of Vicodin and 36 cans of beer. That stopped my heart twice. To this day, I will suffer from high blood pressure due to this, sugar problems, and permanent nerve damage for the rest of my life.
I did get my degree in counseling, psychology counseling. I went to New York and worked on my master's in counseling there at Alliance Theological Seminary. And from there I went back to Detroit, got back into drugs after my mother died, and went on and came down here trying to run from the drugs and from myself, and continued in the drugs.
I went to work and I did my thing, and I went from bank to bank and balanced and did my thing. And when I got home, I started my journey of preparing myself to get high. And that's what I did until the next day. And each and every single day. I wasn't no weekend binger and stuff. This was every single day. Every day. Man, can you imagine the amount of time that I spent? It wasn't about the money, it was about me, what I did to me.
In the Hebrew Exodus means a way out. And this is what we hope to get, or a coming out of, you know. And what we're coming out of, many folks are coming out of a bad marriage. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a life of crime. It doesn't have to be a life of drugs. This is a movement here. You know, coming out of meaningless traditionalism. Many of our folks may come, we have professional people in our church. They come and they're just tired of sitting between the four walls of the church and not doing nothing. And they want to do ministry. They want to do, so it's a coming out of, you know, something and going into something else, you know what I'm saying, in the way of ministry. And then on the other hand, it's a coming out of drug addiction, coming out of incarceration, coming out of bondage, you know, whatever your bondage was, whether it be drugs, whether it be a bad relationship, whether it be a bad street experience, whether it be anything that's bad or bad experience in church. You understand? You are coming out of, and then you have a second chance. And it is about another chance.
And when he started preaching from the pulpit in that funeral home about the Exodus movement, and this is what we're going to do, and I see a housing program, and I see, you know, a prison ministry that's tied to a church that has a place for people to go when they get out of treatment and prison, and this is what God's going to do in our midst. And I remember looking around going, we are? This group of people, we're going to do all that? That seems like such an awesome task for this tiny group of people who have no money, and we're just starting.
Well, Access Homes is a faith-based supportive housing, also transitional housing and permanent for recovering alcoholics and addicts and ex-offenders who return into our communities, from whether it be prison or whether it be from our treatment centers. We have a criteria for those who are coming in. We will not take people directly off the street, but they can come by way of treatment or by way of one of the help agencies in Catawba County. We have a family preservation piece in which we will house women with their children. We usually like for the women to come in first, or men to come in first and get their recovery, and then maybe later on down the line we will add the children to that household, and we provide that housing for them.
It's just a life-changing program, I think. You know, because we try to meet all the needs, you know, the physical, the mental, the emotional, all of that put together. And it takes all that, I think, to come back and be a productive citizen, you know, in the community.
Currently in Washington, there is a push to facilitate and catalyze the faith-based movement to help serve people that the typical human service system has not been very effective in serving. And so I think that we are the quintessential example of the faith-based grassroots organization that started within a community to meet a need that was identified within that community, and starting with minimal funds. In Washington, they had heard that, they had been told that, and so they came here to see what it is that we were doing. And when Jim Toohey came, he's very gracious and he was very impressed, and he went back to Washington and he shared that in Hickory, North Carolina, I have seen it. They have done it and it's working. And so we have a reputation in Washington, and particularly in the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives, for being the kind of organization that can get it done and can get it started.
I know there was a lot of skepticism when Exodus first came to Hickory and started out in the Northeast area, and at the time I was the pack commander for the Northeast area of town. I think there was a lot of public skepticism. The improvement in the community that Exodus has made is just nothing short of miraculous. A lot of people that know a little bit about Exodus now, they think about the improvement that's done for some of the residents and some of the people that are taking part in the program of Exodus. And I think now it's all too often forgotten the overall community improvement that it's done, especially for 8th Avenue Drive Southwest in the Ridgeview community.
Well, Exodus has taken substandard housing in Ridgeview and turned around some substandard housing into livable communities. And they also do that with people's lives, which I think is an asset to our community. When citizens become productive citizens again, it impacts not only neighbors, but the entire city.
I pick up a lot of the new clients, and I tell them, welcome to Hickory and welcome home when I pull them up in that gate. You're in truly a blessed place. You can tell something other than a bunch of addicts is running around in here.
If you need to believe that there are miracles, they're here.
Begin to accept that the pain, the anger, the frustrations that I had was all my doing. And so then I'm starting to accept life on life's terms now. And I'm starting to listen. Even if I don't like it, I'm gonna listen.
Thankful that we've been blessed enough to, to see it, start from, nothing to, now we have, 6 sites, and really helping a lot of people.
This place is like one big family. If one person's down, somebody here is strong enough that they're going to pull you back up and put you back on your horse and say, all right, we'll carry you until you're ready to stand on your own 2 feet again. And that's what the great thing about this place is.
Chose. I don't know why it ended up Exodus, but now that I'm here, I understand that God meant for me to be here, a purpose-driven life. I believe that now. They tell me that I'm such an asset, but they don't know what they're doing for me. They're keeping me alive. This ain't just about staying clean. It's about my life.
Exodus Homes needs you. Please call our office or visit our website to get involved.